Hello there. This is an EFT tapping on keeping the house clean and tidy. I'm a parent, and so I want to have a clean environment, not only for myself, but also for my children. And even though I have this amazing house, beautiful light in it, and all these plants, and such a great space, sometimes I find it really difficult to keep it neat and tidy. I, like many of you, have a lot of trouble putting things away when I'm finished with them because I'm so excited to get on to the next project. I sometimes have resistance towards, washing that one plate and, leaving the one plate in the sink ends up being 15 plates before I know it. And obviously, my children are following my example and learning from me how to keep spaces clean. And so there are times when they also don't put their things away and leave things lying around or make a mess and just move on to the next project. And then, of course, that causes also conflict in our relationship in that, I get frustrated with them, they get frustrated with me, and it's an ongoing cycle. So let's find out why, via EFT tapping, the cycles begin in the first place. What is it that I believe or have or hold on to underneath the untidiness that I believe is serving me or that my system believes is serving me? Because the truth of the matter is it doesn't take really any time at all to put the plate in the dishwasher or to pick up the clothes that are on the floor and stick them in the hamper. But, part of me is thinking that that's the best way to handle things. And let's hope that this tapping helps you as well to move on from any habits or tendencies that you have to leave a mess around and not keep your space in its perfect, order, the way that feels good to you. So let's go ahead and tap on the side of the hand. So just tap on the side of the hand and repeat after me. Even though sometimes my house is a mess and untidy, I love, honor, and accept myself. Even though I have some difficulty keeping my house clean, I love, honor, accept, and forgive myself. Even though I walk straight past things that are out of order without organizing them, without tidying them up, and leave things lying around when I should know better, I love, honor, accept, and forgive myself. And even though my house is not as tidy and clutter-free as I would like it to be, I love, honor, accept, and forgive myself. Okay, so that's our setup. This is the situation. The house is not as tidy as we want it to be, and this is a habit that is in the system of just leaving it untidy or allowing it to get out of hand. Let's go ahead and start on the forehead and tap through the points in order to try and release some of this clutter, some of this untidiness, and some of this manifestation of clutter in our external life that must be reflecting some of the clutter inside of ourselves. So on the forehead, the house is not tidy. All of this mess, all of these objects, all of these things laying around, things that I use, things that I care about, things that have purpose, and things that serve me are all around everywhere. And while it's wonderful to have an abundance of things that are helping me to have the life I want to have, it's not always great when they're all over the place, when they're getting in my way, when they're getting ruined or stepped on or broken because I didn't put them away, or because they're not where they belong, or because I simply can't find them anymore. When my house is disordered, I spend a lot of time trying to feel calm and clear-headed. And I face a lot of resistance to getting it back on track. I even get kind of victim-y. I blame the people around me. I blame my kids. I even sometimes blame my guests. If I hadn't had that dinner party, the house would be untidy. If I hadn't had that friend over, things would be organized. But the truth is that it's me. I have resistance to finishing things up, to resetting the spaces, to putting the dishes away, to putting the books back on the shelf, to putting the clothes in the hamper and doing laundry, to tidying up my projects before I move on to the next one. And this is also a reflection of me moving a little too fast. I don't give myself the time to tidy up. I pretend there is no time to tidy up. And I rush on to the next thing without actually even appreciating the moment that has just passed, the project that I have just put down, the moment of play with my children that I have just completed. Part of my disorganization and untidiness comes from fear. It comes from a sense of pressure. It comes from a sense of unworthiness and lack. Part of me is afraid that if I slowed down, I would be in trouble. I would be late for the next task. I would be behind on the next project. I would be criticized for not doing enough. But the truth of the matter is that the disorganization and mess does at times cause me to become late or sloppy or just clouded in my mind and unable to focus on the next task. So I'm going to allow myself to slow down. I'm going to allow myself to really give myself the time to put things back in order. And as I do so, I will reflect on the moment that has just completed, the experience that I have just had, whether it's finishing a shower and putting my clothes in the hamper, or finishing a meal and tidying up the plates, finishing a project and putting the materials back where they belong, finishing to read a book and putting it back on the shelf. Whatever it is that I have just completed, I will allow myself to feel the completion of it. I will allow myself to have the transition between one activity and another. And in the space of tidying up, I will focus on gratitude and on appreciation, as opposed to seeing the tidying up moment as a moment of obligation or resistance or punishment for having completed the thing. We often see doing the dishes or putting away the toys or cleaning up the paints as the boring part of a moment. But the truth is that they can be seen as the celebration part of the moment, the appreciation part of the moment, the gratitude part of the moment. And as we handle the objects in our homes with care and appreciation and gratitude, a relationship is allowed to develop with them that gives us space to be more mindful about what does come into the home, to be more mindful of what we do use and don't use on a regular basis, to take the next step from disorder or clutter to reducing the amount of things that we have so as to be able to use the ones that we really care about in better ways. And I will bring mindfulness to my moments of tidying the house, mindfulness to the end of activities and the transition to new ones, and also mindful about where my mind is going before my body has a chance to catch up and my circumstances. So that while I am tidying this particular project, I can make some concrete choices about if the next project is the one that really is the most pressing, the most in line with my priorities, the most in line with the vision I have of my life, and what I truly want to do and have called to do next. I'm willing to let go of my habit of being disorganized. I'm willing to let go of my habit of leaving things lying around. I'm willing to let go of my habit of passing by a mess without taking the 3 seconds it would take to tidy it up. And I'm willing to step into the version of me that keeps a clean environment, a clean mind, and therefore a clean mental space. And so it is. So I hope this quick tapping session helps you too with any clutter that you have lying around your house. I'm looking around my room right now and I'm feeling inspired to put the books back in order, get them a little bit organized before I start the next thing in my day, and to get myself really aligned with that energy of clean space equals clean mind and clean mind equals clean space, and to allow those two aspects to play off each other, being very aware of that, and to move into an experience where I am living in not only the environment that I love, but in the order within the environment that I love and that feels really good to me. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll be joining you again soon. Bye-bye.